The House of Israel in Guyana was established by an American fugitive named David Hill, also known as Rabbi Edward Washington. By late 1971, he failed to appear in court in the U.S., suddenly convincing people that Rabbi had left the country. After arriving in Guyana sometime in 1972, he announced himself as Rabbi Edward Washington in an attempt to cover his true identity and began the House of Israel. Despite its name, the House of Israel had no ties with traditional Jewish theology, biblical lineage, or any connection with the Ethiopians. Instead, it was a black supremacist movement. The House of Israel were primarily Afro-Guyanese. Through its daily program that aired on the state-owned radio free of government criticism, it preached that Africans were the original Hebrews and needed to prepare for a racial war. This racial war was, in Rabbi's words, the Battle of Armageddon between blacks and Indians. Rabbi even boasted that his organization was a military operation, which needed to be prepared for this eventful day. In February 1980, the WPA, using government documents, made public headlines showing that arms flowed from the Guyana Defense Force to Rabbi's organization. The House of Israel, like PNC party in government, was ruled by one man only, Rabbi. Only Burnham stood above Rabbi. In this, Burnham's church, all members relinquished personal possessions to the organization and pledged allegiance to Rabbi, who espoused a kind of messianic control. Members were encouraged not to date, seek employment, or marry outside of the group. The association between the House of Israel and the PNC party was symbolized by the colors that the members wore, which were, incidentally, the same colors of the PNC party. But a greater connection can be made through the terrorist nature of House members in favor of the Burnham government, beating up on opposition political activists and providing scab labor. On July 14, 1979, Bernard Dark, a British-born, Guyana-based Jesuit priest and photographer for the Catholic Standard, was stabbed to death by members of the House of Israel. While Father Dark's murder is the most famous of the crimes committed by House members, there were other cases. Mike James, also from Catholic Standard, and Gordon Yearwood, who was a fierce, well-known critic of Burnham, were also beaten and stabbed respectively that fateful day. The police, instead of seeking to apprehend those responsible, set up guard at the House of Israel premise to prevent angry members of the public from retaliating. Rabbi Hill's followers, mainly Afro-Guyanese, christened him King Elijah, appreciating his vision of uplift and empowerment despite accusations about his more nefarious character. Burnham's successor, Hugh Hoyt, had Rabbi Washington and key associates tried and imprisoned on a manslaughter charge. Rabbi Washington, after his release from prison in 1992, said, "I'll never again be used by politicians." The House of Israel is still present in Guyana today, but the Rabbi is not the head of the organization.